Hello everyone, I'm Satish, Assistant Professor of English. I continue to discuss a short story of Ananthamurthy titled Mauni. The temple administrator ordered the attendant to start weighing the arecanuts in the room. Kuppannabata said in a firm and clear voice that he is supposed to kill him before laying his hand on the arecanut. They were all baffled. They revisited him the following day and tried to move him, but it was of no use. Finally, the administrator said to the town crier to announce the action in the whole of Buklapura town. The town crier announced the entire movable assets of Kuppannabhatta are to be auctioned. Kuppannabhatta did not open the door. It was opened forcefully. The attendant lifted his tiny shrunken body effortlessly and placed it in the middle of the front yard in the sun. The attendant carried arecanut bags and other household goods, including cattle. At a distance, the people of Buklapura stood in clusters and watched from behind the trees. Holding tools such as a scythe and a rope in their hands, they had come there pretending to be on their way to work. Sitaka, a widow, lived in a hut. She used to live on one meal of gruel daily, which she cooked from the rice she got from begging. But she had a very sharp tongue, which was feared by everyone in the Grahara. She would somehow pick a fight with anybody and everybody. There was no living creature in or around the place whom she addressed with respect. On hearing the news, Sitaka walked straight away to Kuppannabhatta's house. Sitaka felt concerned by the sight of Kuppannabhatta sitting quietly. She cursed everyone from the temple administrator to the Brahmins of Buklapura, including Kuppannabhatta. Returning home, she mixed 2 handfuls of flattened rice with some green chilies and salt, poured some curds she had got from begging. She went to Kuppannabhatta's house and placed it before him to eat. But he did not touch it. In the meanwhile, Appannabhatta thought of visiting Kuppannabhatta. He tried to convince Kuppannabhatta to end the 30-year-old enmity. His words were met with Kuppannabhatta's silence. Words kept coming out of Appannabhatta's mouth one after another without his knowing how it happened. A little later, words stopped coming out of his mouth. Then silence became unbearable, and so he began speaking again. He, in a way, tried to admit that he never sought to destroy Kuppannabhatta. He also said that he was worried since he too had to get his daughter married and he lost his water buffalo. At last, he requested Kuppannabhatta to visit his house where he would be served something to eat and he would arrange a cart to take Kuppannabhatta to his brother-in-law's place. Kuppannabhatta, with a blank gaze, stared at the woods. Only the grey dog was a witness to all this. Even the grey dog stood up, stretched its body, and sat down again with eyes closed. The gnat swarmed in front of his eyes. The sun burned relentlessly. The flattened rice, once soaked in the curds, the flies that sat on it, a fly that sat on Kuppanna Bhatta's nose, his eyes, was closing and opening. Finally, Appanna Bhatta said that he was not so artless. He too arrived from the other side of the range, carrying only a holy water vessel. He wished not to die like his father without a drop of water to drink. Kuppanna Bhatta was sitting crouched as if in meditation. Appanna Bhatta's talkative mouth went silent. He too sat down, crouched on the front veranda.